Let's get going. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Laura. I own the business Down Zen Healing. I, among other things, teach Qigong, which, if you don't already know, is a form of moving meditation that is a branch of Chinese medicine. And people have been doing it for thousands of years in Asia. Thank you, Christine. Glad that you can hear, and Tracy. And anyway, so let's get going. So this is, a time that people are under a lot of stress and not really sure what's going on. So Qigong is a way to, first of all, it's great for stress. I use it for reducing my stress, and my stress levels have gone. I was kind of always operating at an 11 on a scale of 1 to 10. And so Qigong has just brought my stress levels way, way down. It's also great for the immune system. I built this as immune boosting exercise. And we'll talk a little bit about that. It's not going to, there's been some questions out there about how it's not going to necessarily boost your immune system above whatever its optimal level is, but a lot of our immune systems are operating at lower than optimal levels, especially when we're under a lot of stress. And so Qigong will kind of bring us back up to our optimal level. So let's get going. The first exercise that we're going to do is called shaking the 9 gates, also called shaking the tree. And you're just going to shake your arms. You're going to go up and down on your toes. I don't think you can really see my feet unless I move way back here. You can either go up and down on your toes or keep your feet flat and just bend your knees and just shake everything out. You can twist from side to side. If you need to, you can lean a little bit. Find that spot that's kind of achy, that needs a little bit of work. Maybe your shoulders are kind of stressed out. There's a lot of stress. Roll stuff around. You can roll your neck, but just shake everything out. Get all that excess energy out. You've been cooped up in the house potentially. If that's the case, then just, you have all this energy built up in your body, and just shake it out. We're going to do this for a couple minutes. I have my trusty chair here, so while you keep shaking, I'm going to move my chair forward just to demonstrate. We can also do this sitting down if we need to. Back a little bit. So you can have your toes go up and down, move your legs if that's comfortable, either together or separately. You can lift them off the ground if you want to. You can shake your upper body. Just shake to your own ability. One really interesting thing about this exercise is that I can actually not move my arms and legs, right? So I was just shaking my arms and legs actively. I can actually just let them hang there, and I can bend my knees or go up on my toes, and look at that. My arms just shake. Other things shake too, maybe your love handles, other pieces of your body. But also, once everything inside loosens up, your organs will move around a little bit, gives them a little bit of a massage. They get to kind of bump into each other, and it loosens up some of the fascia that tends to get all gummed up in there when we don't move enough. So like I said, I can either shake everything, or I can just bend my knees and let everything shake for me. So let's twist a little bit. Twist if you haven't. Lean from side to side. And if you want to, you can do some running in place, flash dance, that sort of thing. You can shake as gently or as vigorously as you want to. Good. Now let's come to a standing position. Now that we've gotten some of that excess energy out, let's slow things down a little bit. So feet are anywhere from about hip width to maybe shoulder width apart. They're not super, super wide. They're not really, really wide, and they're definitely not right together. I've learned a couple different, depending on the exercises, a couple different stances. I feel most comfortable at shoulder width, but I've been trying to practice with hip width. Hip width, you can take your one foot, put your other heel, the heel of your other foot next to it, and then pivot out on the ball of your foot. That's about hip width, if you're trying to figure that out. So it's where the hip bones are. It's not where especially on women, it's not where the outsides of our hips are. That's probably more shoulder width. But we're splitting hairs here. So anyway, let's keep moving. So we want either a hip, shoulder width stance, something that feels really comfortable and stable to you. We're going to ground a little bit. We're going to slow things down a little bit. We're going to do some breathing. So we won't breathe in any specific way. If you've done yoga or other types of Qigong, sometimes there's a very prescribed way to do the breathing. I'm not going to worry about that. Breathe however you want to for this. But I do want you to take one hand and put it on your lower belly, so below your belly button, and the other one and put it on your heart or your high heart. And this does a couple different things. So just breathe naturally and see where you feel that breath moving your body. Is it up in your chest, or is it down in your belly, or maybe somewhere in between? A lot of us tend to breathe high in the chest, and if you notice when someone's panicked, they breathe very high in their chest and very rapidly. So this can kind of trigger the stress reaction when you're breathing higher in your chest. If you try to breathe a little bit lower into your belly, think about the air going low down into your lungs. It pushes the diaphragm down, which pushes the belly out. See if you can do that and see if that changes the way you're feeling. If at any point you need to sigh or groan or yawn, please yawn. Yawning means that we're getting emotions out. The same with sighing and groaning. Sometimes, in fact, let's do a nice sigh together. How about that? So we're going to breathe in, and when we breathe out, we're going to do a nice ah. Right? So make it loud if you can. Make it, you don't have to yell, but make it audible. So breathe in and then a nice sigh out. Does that make you feel better? That's one of the things that, one of the ways that acupuncturists actually diagnose if somebody's sighing a lot. It can mean that I'm not an expert in Chinese medicine. I think it means that they have some liver issues, so maybe some issues with anger or frustration. And everybody knows somebody who sighs all the time. It sounds like they're always sighing. So that's actually a diagnostic in Chinese medicine. So keep breathing. See if you can slow the breath down a little bit. So sometimes we talk about deep breathing, but maybe really what we want to do is a slow breath. So maybe we want to inhale. You can keep your hands on your body. I'm going to lift one of mine up. Maybe we want to inhale to a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4. And you can find your own pace. Maybe that's too slow, way too slow, or way too fast for you. But think about slowing the breath down a little bit. So I said there were 2 reasons we're putting our hands on our body. One of them is to kind of focus on the breathing, but the other is that touch is so, so, so important. Now, this is not necessarily a Qigong thing. I don't know that this is a Chinese medicine thing, but it is, it's something that's really, really important. And if you think about now, when we're social distancing and we can get together with our friends, but we have to keep 6 feet away. So we're doing these air hugs and all that. But, I feel like we're going to end up really, really touch deprived. And so especially your hand on your heart can be very, very soothing and can be a way to calm down. At the end of the practice, we'll do something else that actually can be really relaxing sometimes, and it can be very soothing. So take 1 or 2 more breaths, and then we will move on now that we're nice and relaxed. One of my teachers says, less thinking, more sighing. So we don't have to think very hard about our practice, but we do need to be able to let some emotion out. So let's drop the hands to our sides. And if at any point you want to close your eyes during these exercises, you're more than welcome to. Meditation is usually done with our eyes closed or mostly closed. So if you're more than welcome to do that if you want to. And I may just do it automatically because sometimes I do. So if I'm closing my eyes, that's why. The next movement that we're going to do is called Phoenix Ascends the Flames. And this, again, the feet are about hip to shoulder width apart. If you kind of shift from side to side and maybe a little bit forward and back and just try to find a nice centered spot, a nice grounded place for your body. And then the hands will hold a small ball in front of your lower abdomen. And we're going to let them float up to about shoulder height and then just float down. It's almost like you're in water. They're moving in slow motion. Or like there's some helium balloons under your arms that are just letting them float up to shoulder height and then drop down. One rule for Qigong is that it should feel good. So if any of these exercises don't feel right to you, modify them. Maybe your arms only come up part way. Or maybe you have one good arm and one not so good arm, and you only let one arm come up. Either of these is okay. It doesn't matter if you do it exactly like me. What matters is that you do what feels good to your body. So let's add some breathing to this. Breathe in and let the arms float up, and then breathe out and let them float down. If you want to do that sigh out, you can always do that on the exhale. Good. And you can go at your own pace. You don't need to follow me. So like I said before, if my pace of breathing didn't work for you, was too fast or too slow, you can go at your own pace. You might see that I'm kind of leading with my elbow on the way up and on the way down, right? I don't have straight robot arms. I'm not lifting my arms straight up and I'm not lowering them straight down. I'm letting them float up and then float down. It's kind of like, does anybody else have those dreams where you're a bird and you're just soaring above the earth? Oh, I would love to be able to fly. I love this exercise because of that. Let's do one more of these. And then on the next one, we're going to lift our arms all the way up over our heads. Fingers come together, facing each other, and it's almost like you're pushing something down. Breathing in and letting the arms float up over the head, and then breathing out and letting them float down. This is sometimes known as the Great Tai Chi Circle, also known as gathering Qi from the cosmos. Qi is energy. We have Qi inside our bodies. Food gives us Qi. Air gives us Qi. We pull up the Qi from the earth, gather the energy from the universe, and then bring it to our bodies. Keep those shoulders relaxed. It can sometimes be hard to keep the shoulders down when the arms are floating up. But think about extending the arm without lifting the shoulders, right? So when you're up here, you're not lifting those shoulders up to your ears. You're just letting them stay relaxed and then bring them down. Pay attention to your lower body. See what's going on in your lower body. Are your knees soft? They don't need to be bent, but they shouldn't be locked back. And if you feel compelled to rock, Sometimes people really like to rock when they do this. You can more than welcome to do that. So I'm going to show you from the side here. When I breathe in, I lean forward just a little bit. And then when I breathe out and my hands come down, I sink back onto my heels. So I shift my weight to the balls of the feet and then back to my heels. I'm not lifting my heels at all, or barely. Maybe a piece of paper can slide underneath them. I'm just shifting my weight forward and then shifting back onto my heels, kind of like I'm sitting on a tall stool. So I shift forward and then back. You're welcome to shift. You don't have to, though. I just find that I end up doing that. Good. Let's make this the last one. Hands come down in front. And now let's let them float up to the front, kind of like that first movement we did, to shoulder height, and then they float down. So let me show you from the side on this one. They float up in front, and then they float down. So I'm making a circle of sorts, right? They float down right next to my body. Arms are straight but not locked, floating up in front, and then coming down. This is the first Tai Chi movement. It's also in one system that I've studied. It's called opening the door. I've never entirely understood why. It kind of feels more like opening a window for me. That I would be opening my window and then taking my hands away. Remember, sighs and groans and yawns are really good. And let that body relax too. Let your body, you don't have to be stiff or rigid. You can kind of let it just move the way it wants to move. And again, this kind of leads with the elbows. Harder to do when you're straight up in front of your body, but then the elbows and then the wrists drop down near the body. Let's do one more of these. And then this next time, we're going to lift all the way up in front of the face and bring it down. So this is a bigger circle, just from the side in case you need to see it. This is called monkey leaps from a tree. So we talked about that shifting the weight forward as the arms go forward. It's almost like you're leaping from a tree and then you land. So we're leaping and then landing. Breathe in and let the arms float up. And then breathe out and let them float down. I'm feeling like sighing a lot tonight. I guess I haven't sighed enough recently. Remember, like I said, you can always close your eyes if you want to. And breathing is whatever feels good to you, in and out through the nose. Maybe you exhale through the mouth. All right, let's do one more of these, and then we are going to move into a little bit of lower back, lower body movement. And I promised someone I would demo on the chair, and I haven't been doing that, but all of these, right, they're almost all just upper body movements that we've been doing. So you can do these. If you watch me from the side, I can shift forward and then back. So I'm tilting my pelvis a little bit, getting a little bit of spinal movement in there. Monkey leaps from the tree. The next one is called snake rises from the grass. This is a great one to do sitting, so I will do this sitting for sure. This one has a slightly wider stance. So if I go back here and you can see my feet, we're going to be reaching down in between our legs. So it's going to have a slightly wider stance. Imagine someone is rolling a ball to you. If you are really flexible and you can reach down all the way to the ground, then maybe it's a baseball. Maybe it's you're catching a ground ball, right? You've got the mitt and you can reach down and catch it. If you're not as flexible or you have any back problems or there's any reason you shouldn't put your head below your heart, you can go down less. Maybe it's a big beach ball that your grandchild is rolling to you or that somebody is rolling to you. And so either one of those is okay. And I'm going to show you this first. Maybe some of you have done it, and then I'll break it down. So it looks like this. Snake is rising from the grass. And from the side, I'm arching my back, butt sticks out, rounding my back and rolling up, ending with the shoulders. Arching down, rounding, and coming up. So if I were to do this in a chair, I would sit at the edge of the chair. I want to sit at the front edge of the chair. And my feet are going to be a little bit further apart. You can lean down as far as you want. Be careful with the chair. You don't want the chair to flip forward, tip forward. So you want to make sure that you're on a far enough back so that the chair doesn't tip, but you really want to be toward the edge of it. And then you're going to reach down in between your legs, chin up, drop the chin, round the back, and come up with the shoulders. So we're going to reach down, or if I want, I can reach all the way down to the floor and then round up, ending with the shoulders. So let me do it standing up one more time. Wider stance so that we can reach down in between our legs and so that our hands, our elbows can get in between there if we're that flexible. So we're going to reach down, butt sticking out, chin up, back arched a little bit. Then we're going to drop the chin to the chest, round the back, and roll up, ending with the shoulders. So reach down and then round up. So we breathe in as we open the chest, breathe out, and roll it up. Breathe in, opening up the front of the body. Breathe out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in. Let you go at your own pace. And out. Let me show you from the side one more time. Let's turn this way just in case this is easier. Back arched, chin to chest, and round up. Catching that ground ball or that beach ball, and then rounding up. This is not the most graceful movement. It really is okay to stick your butt out there. Let me do one couple more in the chair. For some reason in the chair, I like a much wider stance. Just makes me feel more stable. And so what we're doing with this is that we're arching the back. The leg's better that way. We're arching the back and then we're rounding and coming up, right? And we have the head, chin tilted forward. So we're getting the spine all the way from the bottom, arch, round, and all the way up to the top. So that is snake rises from the grass. Let's do a couple more of those just to get that in our bodies. Breathing in and then out. And we'll get ourselves synced with each other again. In, last one, and out. Relax those shoulders. Move the legs if you need to. We've been standing for a while. You can roll your feet, your ankles, your knees, whatever needs to move. Shake things out. And then let's do a short standing meditation. Don't touch your face. And let's do a short standing meditation. This is going to be partly Qigong and more we're going to do a little bit more touch work. So we're going to have one hand, doesn't matter which one, on the forehead, and the other one can be either on the back of the head, so right behind where the hand is, the front hand is, or if it feels better, it can be anywhere further down. Sometimes it feels good to put it where the skull and the neck meet. Sometimes it feels good to put it all the way down to the neck. I prefer mine up higher. And then just breathe a couple times here and see how that feels. There's a tendency sometimes for the arms to get a little bit tired. This is a great exercise to do when you're lying in bed because your arms don't need to. You don't need to hold them up as much. Then stand hip to shoulder width apart, feet hip to shoulder width apart. You may want to close your eyes. Take a couple breaths. See if this makes you feel any different. Is there anything that you're noticing? And then let's relax the hands. And again, your hands will be just gently hanging at your sides. You can close your eyes if you want to. We're going to tune into the body just a little bit. We're going to see, is there any place in my body that is speaking to me? Are there any aches or pains? Is there any tension? And if you notice something, you might notice more than one place, but pick one and tune into it and just see if you can figure out what that area is trying to tell you. You might have some strange things coming into your mind. Accept the first thing that you hear or that you see and just go with it. Maybe it's a lobster or a blackboard or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Who knows? Or maybe it's an emotion that's coming up. But for me, lots of random things come up, like blackboards and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And usually I tend to judge them and say, well, that doesn't make any sense. Let me get some real information. And I dismiss them. But sometimes it makes sense just to hold on to those things. And see if the story leads you somewhere. If you're not getting anything from one area, you can tune in someplace else. See what messages your body is sending you. Good, and then gently come back to the room. If your eyes are closed, in your own time, you can open them. Then we'll end the session. We'll have a Q&A afterwards, but we'll end the practice session with 3 closing breaths. So this is going to look familiar to you. This is the same as gathering chi from the cosmos. We breathe in, and then breathe out and let the hands float down in front of your body. That's 1. Breathe in, gratitude. Exhale everything that doesn't serve you. And one more breath in, gathering the earth and sky energy. Nice sigh out and storing that energy in your lower belly. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. If anybody has questions, I'm going to stick around for a little while. So please, please, please just type your questions into the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. Hi, JT. Thank you. Your class was awesome too. For others who don't know, there have been a lot of Qigong classes online. I just posted something on the Complete Wellness website that's a calendar. There's a Qigong teacher in Germany who is compiling all of the online classes that she knows about, all the live classes, I think, and she's posting them, and she's got a calendar up, and so it's great. There's a bunch of classes every day, pretty much. So go check that out. Go to the Complete Wellness website. Hey, Katie. Hey, Jackie Marie. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's so great to see everyone. I'm going to quickly check the comments from before and see if there's anything. Oh, Marissa, how is your stress level? You were waiting for it to go down. How are you feeling? Tracy asks, how many poses are there? Wow. How many? There are probably thousands of Qigong exercises. Really, any motion, when you start digging into it, any motion it can become a Qigong exercise. And so there are, thousands probably, but you don't need to know all of them. A lot of people say, do exercise X if you have problem Y. But really, my philosophy is that you learn a whole bunch of exercises and then you pick the ones that you love. And sometimes I'm doing the same exercises just over and over and over again, just because I really, really love them. And then sometimes I go back and I review something that I haven't done in a year. And I say, wow, I didn't really like that much then, but I love it now. So, there are lots of exercises out there and you can learn a whole bunch of them, but really when it comes down to it, pick the ones that you are really enjoying and that you really like doing. So great question. Oh, Marissa, your stress levels improved. That is so great. Oh, Michael asks, how often should I practice? Every day, if possible. It's kind of like brushing your teeth. So you don't just wait to get your teeth cleaned when you go to the dentist every 6 months. And in fact, that would be, I can't even imagine. I know a lot of people don't like going to the dentist. I don't mind going to the dentist, but I have also pretty strong toothbrushing and flossing schedule, and I know there are a lot of people who don't like to go to the dentist. I cannot even imagine not brushing my teeth for 6 months and then going and have the dentist take care of all that. So yeah, practice every day if you can. Don't shame yourself if you can't practice every day, but 15 or 20 minutes once a day, twice a day is great. But really, you want to try to practice every day if you can. People come to weekly classes, but if you can practice on your own, that's really, really super awesome. And that's what I usually recommend. There are lots of videos out there so you can learn different exercises and you can learn different stuff that you can do on your own. So I have to find the other questions. Will you be doing more online classes, Jackie Marie asks? Yes. So for the foreseeable future, until the in-person classes start, I'll be doing online classes every Tuesday, 6 to 6:30 or so. They'll be free. The original plan was to restart the in-person classes on April 14th, but as the situation with the coronavirus changes, it may be that we're still under some sort of self-imposed quarantine, and so we might not be able to do that. I also do at some point have a goal to go online more regularly. I was doing weekly Friday morning practice sessions. They ended up being a lot more like kind of chat fests, but that was on my YouTube channel. So go to my website and you can find a link to the YouTube channel, or I think you might also be able to link to it from my Facebook page. If anything, just go to my website and sign up for my email list, and it's in the top right hand corner of every page on my website, and you can then you can find out everything that's going on. Do that and like my Facebook page. Those are kind of my newsletter, which is usually not more than twice a month, and more often just once a month, and my Facebook page are where I do most of my interactions. So Marissa, oh yay, good for you, Marissa. She says, I'm slammed with work right now, which is awesome because a lot of us are not working, and stopping to do this really helped ground me and lift my spirits. I'm so glad. And Marissa, good for you for taking a break. We really, especially when we're super busy, think, oh, I can get so much more done if I don't, if I just keep working through my lunch break and through my dinner break and I don't take a rest. But really, we need to take that time to ground and to regroup, and and then we are actually more productive after that, although it seems counterintuitive. I've had to learn that the hard way, and I still have to remember that I need to take breaks. So Christine, you are welcome. And Mary, oh, so glad that you got your moment after work. Where do you find the online class listing? So I will post that. I may have posted it on my Facebook page, but I will make sure to put it in the comments to this video, and you can check that out. And Tracy says she'll make sure it's on the Complete Wellness page too. Awesome. Thank you, Tracy. You guys are amazing. Tracy and Stacy at Complete Wellness, I just have to say, they're one of the first groups of people that I connected with when I moved down here, and they're like my tribe. And I just am so excited that I've connected with them and with all of the people that practice at their center, because it's just an amazing group of people. And you're welcome to everyone. Anna Bodo, wow, you're from Boston, right? You were in my Boston class. That is so awesome. So good to see you. Oh, yay. It's awesome to see you, Anna. All right. So I'm going to take off. I will see you next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you guys for being here. And until then, be well. See ya.